All praises be to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For surely his mercy endureth forever. This is Priest Samuel Lawyer, part of LOZ, Light of Zion, located out here in Florida. And today we got the first of many doozies for you, right? First of many spiritual full course meals for you, where every Thursday we'll be uploading a video where we'll be going over certain understandings in the scriptures and certain things that Paul said in his epistles, certain prophecies in the scriptures, and certain understandings, and debunking false ideologies and horrible breakdowns that we see that's going on in the nation of Israel. So, hold tight, have your pen and pencil. We're gonna go right into it, right? Some classes are gonna be short, some of them are gonna be long. It's predicated how the spirit move, I know y'all see the official new logo for the TheeLight of Zion shirt. You know what I mean? Members only. So we're gonna go right into it with a couple scriptures first. I'm gonna go into Colossians 3:17 first. The book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Adonai Yahawashi, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Him. Now, for those of you that have been watching the Light of Zion for a while now, we always open up with the scripture to give honor and reverence to the Most High God and our beloved, anointed King of Kings and Lord of Lords, Hamashiach Yahawashi. Everything we do it in a reputation as a proper representative of the Most High God in the kingdom to come. Right? So we're going to go right into Proverbs 15:14 real quick. We'll go to a couple scriptures. I'm going to go right into it. Like I said, some classes are going to be long, some of them are going to be short, all predicated on the spirit, how the Most High moves. So we're going to read Proverbs 15:14 in the New Living Translation. Right? The book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 14. A wise person is hungry for knowledge, while the fool feeds on trash. So us as being the men of wisdom, right? The prophets that seek after wisdom, that preach wisdom, we got to be constantly hungry for knowledge, right? We got to be constantly hungry for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, especially things that's written in the scriptures, right? Which that's our life, right? You don't want to be the guy you going over scriptures just to regurgitate things that you heard, right? Even when the understanding we're about to give out tonight, we challenge you to go home and look through your notes and look through your scriptures and refine it. Because the things I'm bringing out, there's probably things I'm leaving out, right? Because they may be too heavy, or the Most High didn't give it to me. The Most High probably gave it to you to go do that study, refine the understanding, and bring it to the forefront for our people to feed from, right? But a wise person is going to be hungry for knowledge. You don't want to be the guy that just quoting precepts you don't even understand what you're quoting, or you're kicking out things you don't understand. Right? Because a lot of our people that I don't really watch camp videos like that, but you'll see a lot of our people say, "Let me show you a law, Psalms 1:1, and the laws in the Torah." And Yahawah elaborates and gives us law in red letter in the New Testament. You don't want to be that guy, right? So make sure you go back home after you watch his videos and study, review, and look at your scriptures and pray the Most High give you that understanding, right? Let's get another precept. We're gonna get two more, and then we're gonna go right into it. Actually, we're gonna go to Revelations 19. Let me see. Actually, let's go to 1 Corinthians 14 instead. Cover the prophecy. One moment, family. Get that scripture. 1 Corinthians 14:39. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 39. Wherefore, brethren, covet to prophecy, or forbid not to speak with tongues. So us as prophets of the Most High, we got to look for these prophecies. We got to understand the times, rightfully dividing the prophecies the Most High gave us in the scriptures. All right. So not only we're going to go over knowledge, we're going over prophecy. We're going over different various prophecies in the scriptures. And like I said, we're challenging you to go back home, right, and study to show yourself approved. All right. Give me 1 second. Let's get that. 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Like I said, there's some things that we could be missing, some things the Most High didn't give us. But like I said, it's your job as students, all right? Your job as teachers to go back, look over your notes and look over your precepts, and the Most High will give the increase with knowledge. So we're going to go right into Acts chapter 15. That's the understanding for today. Acts chapter 15, verse 13 to 18, because this is something I seen through the Spirit. Right? I remember a brother, I'm not going to say his name, he was going around challenging different brothers and sisters, or different brothers from various different Israelite organizations with his understanding, using this to say that the heathens could be grafted in, or I don't know where he's going with this understanding, but he's saying that the nations could come in, they could be grafted in. This is the proof and evidence, right? So I wanted to start off with something small, and we're going to look into it. We're going to examine it. But we're going to start off from the top so everybody can understand what's going on. All right? We're going to start off right from the top, and we're going to read down. The book of Acts, chapter 15 and verse 1. And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved. So there's an issue going on in Acts chapter 15. There's a lot more things going on in Acts 15, but like I said, we're going to stick to the point. So these brothers are saying you can't be saved unless you're circumcised according to what's written in the Torah, right? Which is, we know circumcision is something that was given to Abraham, that was passed down to our people, right? A sign of the covenant. Verse 2. When therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension and disputation with them, they determined that Paul and Barnabas and certain other of them should go up to Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about this question. So they tell them, listen, Paul, Barnabas, y'all go to Jerusalem and go get the breakdown from James. If I remember correctly, James is the leader and the one that's in charge of Jerusalem at this time. And being brought on their way by the church, they passed through Phoenice and Samaria, declaring the conversion of the Gentiles. And they caused great joy unto all the brethren. And we know a lot of our Christian brothers, this is why we're going to go over this, all right? They're high and stuck on stupid when it comes to the Gentiles, all right? They want to become the white man's bulletproof vest, right? So when they'll see the word Gentile there, and that's going to be another class, when they see the word Gentiles, they automatically equates it to being non-Israelites, right? Where Gentile could be, depending on the context, it could be referred to an Israelite, or it could be referred to an actual heathen, depending on the context, and probably if you go into the Greek. And when they were come to Jerusalem, they were received of the church and of the apostles and elders, and they declared all things that Yahawah had done with them. But there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees which believed, saying that it was needful to circumcise them and to command them to keep the law of Moses. And the apostles and elders came together for to consider of this matter. And when there had been much disputing, Peter rose up and said unto them, men and brethren, ye know that a good while ago God made choice among us, that the Gentiles by my mouth should hear the word of the gospel and believe. And God, which knoweth the hearts, bear them witness, giving them the Holy Spirit, even as he did unto us, and put no difference between us and them. So you got to imagine how the Christians are looking at this, all right? They're thinking Peter is talking about the Israelites and them, right? And the non-Israelites. This is what's going into their mind right now, all right? Verse 10. Now therefore, why tempt ye Yahawah to put a yoke upon the neck of the disciples, which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear. But we believe that through the grace of Mashiach Yahushua, we shall be saved, even as they. That all the multitude kept silence and gave audience to Barnabas and Paul, declaring what miracles and wonders Yahawah had brought among the Gentiles by them. This is where we're going to get into it. We're going to read it, and then we're going to go right back. And that's something I'm going to do throughout these videos every Thursday. I like to read it. We're going to go right back. Make sure everybody's following along. Everybody understands what's going on. Verse 13. And after they had held their peace, James answered, saying, Men and brethren, hearken unto me. So this is James, the brother of Yahawashi, saying, speaking now to the audience. And we're going to examine what he's saying to the audience. Simon hath declared how Yahawah at the first did visit the Gentiles. All right. First did visit the Gentiles to take out of them a people for his name. And to this agree the words of the prophet as it is written. Now he's about to quote a prophet. And we're going to examine that later on. But let's continue reading. All right. To the blind eye, it looked like he's talking about the heathen. Right. After this, I will return. Now he's quoting what the prophet is saying. I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down. And I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up, that the residue of men might seek after the other one, or the Lord, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith the Lord, who doeth all these things. Known unto God are all his works from the beginning of the world. So what are we looking at right now? Right? Because it looked like heathens are being called after the name of the Most High God. They're going to be the residue of men is going to seek the Most High, and all of this. And it seems like Peter is trying to convert the Gentiles. All right. So we're going to go right back from verse 13 and we're going to examine it. But I wanted to start from verse 1 so everybody understands what's going on. Right? This was a council that was going on. So we're going to start from verse 13 and we're going to get the right precepts to give the right understanding. Verse 13. And after they held their peace, James answered, saying, Men and brethren, hearken unto me. All right. Simon had declared how Yahawah at first did visit the Gentiles to take out of them a people for his name. Now, one thing we always got to remember, right? James. Who is James? James is one of the 12 disciples, right? He's one of the men that was personally taught by Yahawashi, and he understands 100% of things concerning to Yahawashi, right? One of the things that Yahawashi taught was the gospel. So James should be fully aware that according to Isaiah 61, these heathens there's nothing they can do. They're going to be in servitude. He understands that, right? And he understands how, according to the prophecies in the Tanakh, in the prophets, and in the law, the Tanakh and the law, right? That Yahawah is going to return and smite and destroy the nations, especially in Isaiah 63rd chapter and Numbers the 24th chapter. So this can't be something possible. This can't be what James is talking about if he was taught everything concerning Yahawah. But we're going to go ahead and continue, though, because we're going to get that quote where you just quoted. Verse 15. And to this agree the words of the prophet as it is written. After this, I will return and I will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down. And I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back into this the word of this prophet, right? We're going to go to Amos, the 9th chapter. And we're going to follow along because he's quoting Amos, the 9th chapter. Right? So we're going to go right back, just like what we do with Luke, the 4th chapter. Right? When you see good tidings, the word gospel, we already know is quoting Isaiah 61st chapter. So usually, a lot of you prophets, hopefully, you're going right back to Isaiah the 61st chapter. So we're going to follow along in Amos the 9th chapter and what James is saying, and the proper understanding of what's being said here, why he quoted it, right? And who's it applicable to? Because of course, it's going to show you right here, it's not applicable to all nations. So we're going to look at Amos the 9th chapter. We're going to start off from verse 11. All right. First, we're going to read Acts 15 again one more time. 15 verse 15 to 16. And to this agree the words of the prophets, as it is written, after this I will return, And I will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down. And I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up. So let's go back to Amos, the 9th chapter. Let's read it. Amos 9 and 11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. So what is the tabernacle of David? Is the united kingdom of Israel, right? That's what's fallen. And close up the breaches thereof. What is the breaches that is talking about? What is the breaches that is talking about? We're going to get that real quick, see what it's talking about. Because he's talking about he's going to raise up the united kingdom of Israel and close up the breaches thereof, right? So you guys getting both breakdowns, Acts chapter 15 and Amos the 9th chapter. So we're going to go right, and we're going to look at a quick precept, quick example. Okay, Isaiah the 30th chapter. The book of Isaiah, chapter 30 and verse 13. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall. Right. So when the scripture says that he's going to rend up the breaches of the let's read it again, of the tabernacle of David, is talking about the transgressions of Israel. Right. He's going to get purge all of that out of us when he raises up again, has united again. Just like how it says in Ezekiel 37, how we're going to be one stick in the hands of a Yahawah. So we're going to come right back. Come right back to Amos. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. So how he's going to re-establish us again, how we was prior before us going into major captivity. Now, this is the best part right here. So let's go right back. The book of Acts, chapter 15, verse 16. We're going to start from there. So now we see it's Amos the 9th chapter he's quoting. We're going to come right back. Acts chapter 15, verse 16. After this, I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down. And I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up, that the residue of men might seek after the Lord, and all the Gentiles, upon whom my name is called, saith the Lord, who doeth all these things. So what are we seeing right here? Right? When it says that the residue of men might seek after the Lord, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, right? Saith the Lord, who doeth all these things. All right? So we're going to go right back to Amos 9 and 12, and then we're going to dissect everything, right? Amos 9 and 12. That they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen that are called by my name, which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. So when we look at it from a blind eye, it looks like the Most High is saying, right? It looks like what James is saying, the heathen are called after the name of the Most High God. It looks like that. Right? And I don't blame you if you do see it like that. But we're going to look at it. Because the problem that we have, right, was the nations ever called after the name of the Most High God? Right? Were they ever called after the name of the Most High God? Because when we read it, that the residue of men might seek after the Lord, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith the Lord who doeth these things. Right? It looks like that. It looks like they're called after the name of the Most High God. Right? It looks like it's applicable to the nations. So we're going to look at some scriptures to show it's not talking about the heathen, right? Because the heathen was never called after the name of the Most High God. And if it's not the heathen, it's letting you know this is talking about Israelites. And we're gonna further elaborate on that when we get back. We're gonna look at one precept real quick. All right. The book of Isaiah, chapter 43 and verse 1. But now thus saith Yahawah. So this is the Most High speaking, right? Thus saith the Most High, right? This is the words of the Most High. The Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine, right? So let's look at Isaiah 63 real quick. We're going to look at something. Isaiah 63, and we're going to start from verse 18. All right. The book of Isaiah, chapter 63, and verse 18. The people of thy holiness have possessed it but a little while. So this is Isaiah talking about our people. We only possessed our land, right? Only for a little, just a little period of time. Because when you go right back into the history, we was going to captivity after captivity after captivity. We didn't spend a long time in the land. Our adversaries have trodden down thy sanctuary, which the heathens did. They came in and destroyed our land, especially when you look at the heathens that destroyed our first temple and eventually our second temple. We are thine. This is Isaiah saying, him and the Israelites are the Most High's. Thou never bearest rule over them. The Most High never was dealing with the nations. They were not called by thy name. This is a prophet Isaiah, unless people are saying Isaiah is a liar, right? Isaiah lets us know the heathen were never called. They were not called by the name of the Most High God. So when we go back to Acts chapter 15, when it looks like it's saying that, right? It's not, because the heathens were never called, right, by the name of the Most High God. Read it again. Acts 15:17, that the residue of men might seek it, after out of one, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith the Lord, who doeth all these things. So this is not dealing with the heathens. It cannot be dealing with the heathens because the heathens were not called by the name of the Most High God. Right? They were not called by the name of the Most High. So we're going to go right back to Amos, the 9th chapter, and we're going to look at it again. Right? We're going to look at it again. Amos chapter 9 and verse 12. That they may possess the remnant of Edom. So who's the they that's going to possess the remnant of Edom? Already showing you, right? Because this is James quoting this, right? Somebody's going to be, one of the nations are going to be being possessed, right? And we're going to look into that word possessed. One of them is going to be property to the tabernacle of David, aka the United Kingdom of Israel. So Gentiles cannot be being saved if right there in that prophecy that James is quoting, they're going to be in servitude. Amos 9 and 11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom, and of all the heathen, which are called, Salakia, and all the heathen, quote, which are called by my name. So who's this talking about? Who's the they which are called by my name? It's talking about the Israelites. It's talking about verse 11, right? Which are called by my name, saith the Lord, that they're going to possess the remnant of the Edomites and the heathen, the people that are called by the name of the Most High, which are the Israelites, right? So when we look at what James quoted, we look at that word possess, right? It's the word yarash, and we're going to see what it means. To seize, dispossess, take possession of, inherit, disinherit, occupy, impoverish, to be an heir, to take possession of, to inherit, to impoverish, to be dispossessed, be impoverished, come to poverty, right? To destroy, bring to ruin. So this is what this. How can this in Acts chapter 15 be alluding that the nation is going to be saved if the very prophet and prophecy that is quoting is showing you that the remnant of the Edomites are going to be possessed, impoverished, right? Destroyed by the tabernacle of David, the United Kingdom of Israel. It can't be so. How can it be literal Gentiles in Acts the 15th chapter if the Gentiles or the heathens, the ethnic heathens, right, were never called by the name of the Most High God? Right? We're going to go ahead and continue. And of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. And we're going to come right back to verse 13. We're going to go right back into verse 13 in Amos. I'm going to take it right back to Acts 15 real quick. Acts 15:16. After this, I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down, and I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up, that the residue of men might seek after Yahawah, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith the Lord who doeth this. Unto Yahawah are all his works from the beginning of the world. Right? So let's go right back and finish Amos the 9th chapter real quick. We'll come right back and finish it. Finish this what's being quoted. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper and the treader of grapes, him that soweth seed, and the mountains shall drop, and the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all his hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and drink wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I given them. Right? So this is all dealing with the nation of Israel. All of it from verse 11 down to verse 15 is dealing with the nation of Israel. Now when we go, let's go right back. All right, we're going to read it again from the top. Verse 16, after this I will return, and I will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down. And I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up, that the residue of men might seek after Yahawah, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith the Lord, who do it. Right? So when you look at that, the residue of men, it's talking about that remnant that's going to come and seek after the Most High God. When we look at this word Gentile, and we're going to look at it real quick. Because that still might throw people off. We're going to look at something real quick. When we look at these people that our people is dealing with in Paul's epistles, right, in Acts, it's all dealing with Israelites, right? It's not dealing with the other nations. And we're going to show you some reasons why we say that. We're going to start off with Ephesians real quick. And we're going to go to Galatians and Corinthians. And we'll look at Romans as well. All right, we're going to start from Ephesians 1 and verse 1. The book of Ephesians, chapter 1 and verse 1. Paul, an apostle of Hamashiach Yahawashi, by the will of Yahawah, to the saints which are at Ephesus. Right? A lot of Christians, they believe that these letters are going on to the non-Israelites, and it's addressing certain things that bring them in. Right? So off rip is saying that it's to the saints which are at Ephesus. But instead of going back to Psalms, we're going to go ahead and continue reading to see if this is applicable to the heathens. And to the faithful in Hamashiach Yahawashi, grace be unto you and peace from our Father, and from the Adwan Hamashiach Yahawashi. Blessed be the power and the Father of our Adwan Hamashiach Yahawashi, who have blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Hamashiach, according as he has chosen us. So he's saying him and them, right? Us and him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy, without blame, before him in love. So he's adding himself with the audience. Having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Hamashiach Yahawashi to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. Right? So we're going to look at this right here. Because Paul is speaking to the audience, and he's talking about us, right? It's us. He predestined us to the adoption of children. Who was the adoption given to? Everybody should understand in Romans 9, in the 9th chapter, the adoption was given to Israel. All right. So off rip, who was he talking about? There's no precept in the Bible. There's no scripture in the Bible that says the adoption was given to non-Israelites. Nowhere in the Bible. But we can see in Romans the 9th chapter, the adoption was given to Israel. And this is something Paul said. All right. The Christianity Savior. Right? So by process of elimination, the people that Paul is addressing in Ephesus, right, who a lot of our Christian brothers and a lot of people believe these are Gentiles, they would have to be Israelites, because only Israelites received the adoption. Right? So we're going to go to another one. We're going to go to Corinthians, one famous one, real quick. And we're going to go to Romans real quick, and then that'll be it. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10 and verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I will not that ye should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea. So Paul is speaking to the Corinthians, and he's telling them how our fathers, right, passed were under the cloud and passed through the sea. Right? So whoever this audience is, their ancestors were the same ones that walked through the Red Sea. Verse 2, and all were baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. Who was the ones that walked through the Red Sea? Who were baptized unto Moses? It was the Israelites, right? Now, for those that may not believe that, right? Let's say that we're having a conversation, me and a so-called Jamaican brother is having a conversation at camp, and there's an audience full of Edomites, and this one Jamaican brother, and I'm speaking to the audience, and I'm saying, you know, our fathers was brought here in the slave ships, and how we was beaten by these devils. Who am I speaking to? To the Edomites or the brother? I'll be speaking to the brother because it's applicable. What I'm saying is applicable to me and this brother, right? Likewise, passing through the Red Sea and being baptized into Moses, that would be applicable only to this. So Paul would have to be addressing Israelites, who a lot of Christians believe these guys are Gentiles. So I just wanted to give a quick precepts. I pray that the understanding was great. Brothers study these precepts and they receive edification. I want to say like, share, and subscribe. Please send all donations to TheeLight of Zion via Cash App at $TheeLoZ. This is Priest Amwan Bonloya. I want to say shalom to the nation of Israel and the Israelites scattered abroad. Shalom.